Every April Fool's Day, my boyfriend would stage an elaborate fake proposal as part of a prank coordinated with his best friend, Lexito. Make it up to me. Jackson had spent months swearing that this year would be different. He promised he would finally ask for real. So when he sent me a top priority text telling me to meet him at the bistro where we had our very first date, I believed him. I spent 3 hours getting ready. I got a blowout, had my nails done, and applied a full face of makeup with surgical precision. But the moment I pushed through the door, a heavy, cold mass of buttercream slammed into my face. A girl's sharp, bright laughter erupted from the center of the room. I told you she'd show up. Pay up. Jax, you lost. Jackson walked over, his expression as smooth and gentle as it had been for the last 6 years. He used a napkin to wipe a glob of frosting from my cheek. I made a bet with the guys on whether I could actually get you to come out tonight. I bet that you wouldn't. My stake was simple. If I won, I'd propose tomorrow. If I lost, I'd wait another year. He shrugged, offering a half-hearted grin. Sorry, babe. Since you actually showed up, I guess we're not getting married this year either. I stood there, the weight of the frosting pulling at my skin, and looked him dead in the eye. So, you know what tomorrow is? He laughed dismissive. Of course I do. Our 6-year anniversary. How could I forget? In that moment, the realization hit me with the force of a physical blow. Our anniversary would always play second fiddle to a prank, and I would always play second fiddle to Lexi. He reached down and slid off the simple silver band we'd worn as a promise set since college. Then we're done. We're breaking up. The sharp clink of the ring hitting the hardwood floor silenced the entire room. Jackson's brow furrowed. Lexi slumped onto the velvet sofa, her face a mask of exaggerated pootiness. Seriously, Cassie, it was just a laugh. If you're going to be like that, we won't play anymore. Okay, but breaking up? That's a bit dramatic. She looked at the guys, her eyes wide. I told you she couldn't handle it, Jax. You shouldn't have invited her. Now the whole vibe is ruined. In the past, I would have swallowed my pride. I would have apologized just to keep the peace, to make sure Jackson didn't lose face in front of his friends. But watching him prioritize Lexi's hurt feelings over the fact that he'd just humiliated me on the eve of our anniversary, I finally saw the truth. This wasn't a relationship. I was just an accessory to his life with his friends. I picked up my coat and the designer bag I'd bought specifically to impress his parents later this month. Jackson, I said, my voice steady for the first time in years. It's over. I mean it. I turned and walked out, my heels clicking unevenly on the pavement. As the door swung shut, I heard Lexi's teasing voice drift out. Is your ball and chain actually leaving? You're not going to go full simp and chase her, are you? Jackson let out a cold snort. She's just throwing a tantrum. If I chase her now, she'll think she's won. Besides, she has no one else but me. She's easier to win back than you are. His words felt like a serrated blade across my chest. 6 years ago, Jackson had stood in this very spot and told me he couldn't live without me. He had worked hard to get me. When I was 15, my parents both remarried and started new families. I became the legacy baggage, the kid who was shuttled between houses, but belonged in neither. I grew up terrified of intimacy, terrified of building a home only to have it dismantled. I turned Jackson down 5 times. The 6th time, a man had followed me home to my apartment. Jackson had appeared out of nowhere, tackling the guy and holding him until the police arrived. He ended up in the ER with a fractured wrist. As the nurse wrapped his arm, his eyes had turned red. Cassie, why are you so stubborn? He'd whispered. Why won't you just let me protect you? My heart had disintegrated right then. I thought that if I could be with someone so reliable, so protective, maybe I'd finally be safe. That night, he'd taken me to this bistro to ask me out. When I said yes, he'd picked me up and spun me around like a kid until we were both dizzy, eventually collapsing onto the grass. He'd held me tight and sworn to the moon that as long as he was around, I would never be lonely again. But now, he was the one reopening the wounds I'd spent years trying to heal. I let out a bitter laugh and pulled out my phone. I opened an email from 5 days ago, a transcript